This short video discusses and simplifies what a cytokine storm is, what are the risk factors, and how do we calm the cytokine storm and control the driver, inflammation. Let's start with what are cytokines. They are cell signaling molecules, the superhero response to a virus, infection, disease, or injury. They're the masters of cell-to-cell communication. They recruit the white blood cells to help fight off the bad guys. There are two roles of cytokines. Start with the pro-inflammatory cytokines. They are like the cytokine troops. They bring in an arsenal of white blood cells to fight off the virus, infection, or respond to an injury. Then we need anti-inflammatory cytokines. They're like the Army's lieutenants. They rein back in the troops, calm the response down as it moves toward the healing process. Why do pro-inflammatory cytokines stay in attack mode, creating the cytokine storm? Sometimes there's too much oxidative stress. It turns on the inflammatory response, and there's not enough antioxidant power to ward it off. Certain viruses or diseases upregulate this response, this cytokine storm. So existing inflammation is one of the culprits that needs to be controlled. Pre-existing inflammation may be triggered by existing diseases or conditions. There's a couple of terms that we're going to go over in detail. One is NLPR3. It's an inflammasome. It's part of our innate immune system. It can create more inflammation. Upregulated NfkB, which we're going to go over in detail. And then low ACE2 activity. That also can create more activity and a more robust, again, cytokine storm. Let's start with the power of antioxidants. We've heard of fruits and vegetables, the antioxidant power, but what actually does it do and how does it help it control inflammation? Too much oxidation causes excessive inflammation. Inflammation, think of it as like the evil empire. The good news is we all have a Yoda called NRF2. NRF2 is the master regulator of the body's antioxidant system. So the defense against excessive inflammation, the evil empire. So Yoda, again, is that master regulator, calming down that excessive inflammation. So powering up, giving more force to Yoda increases the ability of anti-inflammatory cytokines to turn on, which is what we want to turn off the pro-inflammatory cytokines when they've done their job. This reduces oxidation, thus inflammation. So Yoda needs to be fed to keep the force engaged. Certain flavonoids, natural herbs, or vitamins empower Yoda, NRF2. Some of these flavonoids are curcumin, green or black tea extract, vitamin C, vitamin D, resveratrol, hydrogen. So next, what is NfkB? It is a protein that regulates cellular behaviors, signaling and stimulating antibodies, like a well-designed city traffic pattern. Overactivation of NfkB increases oversignaling and increased inflammation. So think of it as traffic jams, road rages, none of the lights are working, and this overload equivalents to an overstimulated response. So think of it as again, correlation with many degenerative diseases. So this daily stress from these long daily commutes to work to busy cities can wear you out. Some flavonoids and vitamins that inhibit this overactivation: green and black tea extract, N-acetylcysteine, vitamin E, and vitamin C. The last term we're going to discuss is ACE2. What is ACE2? It is an enzyme on the surface of many cell types. It's the acronym for angiotensin converting enzyme 2. It's a vital biomechanical pathway that regulates our blood pressure, wound healing, and inflammation. So where are these ACE2 receptors? They're highly abundant, particularly in the mouth and lung chambers, and their relevance is key to understanding why some viruses may be more contagious, and particularly why they might affect the lungs. So some viruses have these spike proteins. They know how to get into ACE2, unlock the receptor, and break in like a lock. If you have strong ACE2 receptors, like a kryptonite lock, the virus, the bad guy, has a harder time getting in. What is the role of ACE2? One main role is to break down this angiotensin 2. Angiotensin is a protein that helps to maintain blood pressure. If not broken down into molecules, it is harmful and can increase cytokines, which contributes to the cytokine storm. As you age, you have more receptors and their activity is not as robust. Think of it as you age, you get more wrinkles and your skin is not as robust and tight. Similar analogy would be ACE2. So that's one compromised condition, certainly. And if ACE2 activity decreases, it cannot break down this angiotensin 2, so which can cause blood vessels to become narrower, increases blood pressure, increasing inflammation to the lungs, damaging tissue lining, and increases cytokines, contributing to the cytokine storm. Some ACE2 predisposed conditions are aging, smokers, COPD, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, hypertension. And then again, some natural flavonoids that may increase ACE2 activity: curcumin, resveratrol, panax ginseng, alpha lipoic acid. NLRP3 inflammasome. What is it? It's a multimeric protein complex that initiates an inflammatory form of cell death and triggers the release of pro-inflammatory cytokines. It's another contributor to increased inflammation. So increased NfkB, which we already talked about in a previous slide, can rise this inflammasome, which then strengthens and rises the evil empire. So NLRP3 overactivation is a big driver of the cytokine storm. If unregulated, NfkB and NLRP3 may create what you would think of as the perfect cytokine storm: excessive hail, wind, and heavy rain. If you have predisposed risk factors, there's more opportunity for these viruses to do harm. So there seems to be some consistency with many of the disease states that we've already talked about in the previous slides. The same ones apply here: diabetes, obesity, cardiovascular disease, hypertension, and respiratory problems. Some nutrients that may downregulate: glutathione, curcumin, and melatonin. Calming the cytokine storm. So far we've discussed a few mechanisms of action of the human body's response to viruses, injury, and disease. There's a synergy and combination of some of the mentioned flavonoids and vitamins in this discussion that may help support and reduce inflammation, provide more antioxidant power, and reduce the risk for chronic illness and viral threats, or the outcome of the virus if infected. Let's discuss a few different flavonoids and vitamins that may help calm the cytokine storm and strengthen ACE2 receptors. Curcumin was one that was mentioned several times, so we'll start with that. Many of us are familiar with curcumin, the name, turmeric, the spice. It's a potent antioxidant and anti-inflammatory. So it helps recharge Yoda, give him more force. Yoda, again, NRF2, the good guy, to combat one of the bad guys, NfkB, the evil empire. One challenge is that curcumin by itself is not well absorbed. It breaks down before it can respond systematically. So for example, when using it as a spice, often you'll see it suggested in a recipe to add black or cayenne pepper. This enhances the absorption significantly. So when purchasing a curcumin supplement, be wary of the quality standards of the brand. Absorption, again, is key. Ask your doctor. Additional ingredients or technology in some supplements help enhance and protect these curcuminoids, and it's essential, or the benefits of the antioxidant or anti-inflammatory will be lost. Vitamin C, again, another one that we've heard about. It was spoken to many times throughout this presentation. It's the antioxidant powerhouse. It helps inhibit NLRP3 inflammasome. Breaks up traffic jams, immune supportive, quality is important, absorption, and buffered so that it helps decrease the chance of stomach distress. Quercetin, it's an antiviral. It helps calm the cytokine storm that may damage tissues. It's an anti-inflammatory. It inhibits NLRP3. It's a critical role in transporting zinc into cells, which we've heard a lot about in the recent months. Like curcumin, quercetin is not very absorbable. The quality absorption is paramount. Ask your doctor. Melatonin. As we age, we all know our melatonin levels decrease. So melatonin, it's important for not only for immune support and for sleep. It helps decrease the activation of NLRP3. Inflammasome is a powerful antioxidant in the body. EGCG, it's a polyphenol, can be found in green or black tea. It is also well known as an antioxidant and an anti-inflammatory. It may suppress NfkB and some pro-inflammatory cytokines. It also is supportive of immune health. It's another video that I did on immune basics, learning about Th17 and Treg cells. EGCG is helpful for immune health as well. Resveratrol, that's a common word that we've heard, particularly as it's available in red wine. So no, too much red wine is not good for us, but it is a source. It's an anti-inflammatory, helps support activation of iota again, NRF2, may inhibit the evil empire and NfkB, and may help block viral replication. Another flavonoid that's not easily absorbed because quality and standardized brand is important. N-acetylcysteine. It's an anti-inflammatory and antioxidant. A little bit different than some of the other ones that we've talked about, as it's an anti-mucolytic. It's support for improved respiratory infection. Glutathione. It's a master antioxidant. It's the master of our detoxification system. It enhances immune function, but it's an unstable molecule. Quality and measures to ensure stability are critical. It's easy to break down, oxidizing, therefore it would be no good. Glutathione levels decrease as we age, dramatically actually. There is more to maximizing your health and reducing your risk factors than just supplementation, certainly. First and foremost would be a healthy diet full of vegetables and fruit, exercise, reducing stress, sleep, and getting outside. There's a wealth of information that I'll discuss in another video. Next steps. How do I take all of these supportive flavonoids, vitamins, or eat enough of these healthy foods? The good news is many of these flavonoids and vitamins with similar mechanisms are combined in one formula. Together, they may create a better synergy or efficacy. Ask your doctor for recommendations on which supplements and diet is best for you.